morning, everybody.
Good morning, Shalom.
Morning, Shalom. Morning, Yossi. And let's go. Having arrived safely in Hebron, Yaakov assumed the mantle of leadership. Yosef shared his two dreams with the family, one in which his brother's sheaves bowed down to his, and a second in which the sun and moon and 11 stars bowed down to him. Joseph's brothers took this brazen display of conceit as evidence that Joseph was in fact the self-centered Esau's spiritual heir more than Yaakov's. Yaakov, however, approved of Yosef's dreams since he himself already envisioned Yosef as a successor. Just a small interesting point that I just heard yesterday about the dreams is that any dream you can interpret for good or not. And basically you should interpret for good. Shgacha brothers, I had a pretty strange dream last night. Shalom, go ahead.
Good morning. It's good that I get to learn today. I'm very happy about it. So, I don't understand what Yosef's thinking exactly, telling his brothers what he's trying to gain from it. Like, even though he realized that there was probably a lesson he could have learned from that, he still could have just held off from telling them, because especially if he's interpreted it a certain way, like it ended up working out, he could have just kept quiet and waited for things to run their course. And also, why didn't like his father say anything? Why wasn't Yaakov saying anything if he envisioned that? Yeah, it's my questions. Pass.
If Yosef would have kept quiet about it, the whole selling, the whole way he was brought down to Mitzrayim was because his brothers got pissed off at him and sold him, put him in the pit, sold him as a slave, and all that stuff, whatever it was. So that's maybe why he had to say it. Like, honestly, if a cool dream happens to me, I'm probably gonna say it. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. What happened? So, any crazy dreams? You gotta share it. Maybe one day I'll become king.
I don't know if I got both your questions, so if you can repeat them. The second one, I think you're asking why didn't Yaakov say anything? Yaakov did say. Yaakov, as it says, Yaakov approved of Yosef's dreams. But he also said it in like kind of a balanced way that the brothers still were choosing how to interpret it. Anyway. Up there? Yes. The need for spiritual mentors. In 1 minute, I'm going to come get it. Yosef said to his brothers, please listen to this dream I had. Genesis 37:6. Shalom.
Joseph's two dreams seem to convey the same idea. The reason for the apparent repetition is that they symbolize two distinct stages in the relationship between each generation and its leaders. My first question was what was he attempting to gain from this? What was his what was he trying to right? He understood that the dream meant something. Apparently it did, which is why he said it. So why couldn't he just let things run their course instead of having to say it and having his brothers obviously not appreciate it, especially since this anger that they had against him didn't come out of nowhere. They weren't very tight, obviously. They had beef from before, so I don't understand why he would bring something like this up.
Yeah. Funny how he's probably looking at your son's bathroom. How did he know the bathroom door was open? Nah, but I think Joseph was like maybe he was a little think telling everyone what happened, but maybe you're supposed to be.
Okay, so good question. Why did he find the need to say, what he's doing, what he dreamt? I think this was an ongoing dispute between him and the brothers. Good morning, Avi. Thank you. There's one
Morning.
Thank you. And I think that because there was an ongoing dispute between them, and he was trying to basically prove it already, just like I think we all do. You want to prove it, especially if you're right? Not when you're wrong. When you're wrong, of course, you also try to prove yourself right. But when you know you're right, and that's the reality, for sure you want to share it. So he's just trying to show that there's another source of it. But they kept on, I guess, interpreting it. Sean?
I wasn't sure if it was me or Avi. Good morning, Avi. It's good to see you. Yeah, let's continue reading a bit. Sheaves of grain are made up of individual stalks which grow discreetly from one another, each in its own groove. Binding them into sheaves symbolizes our first task in life, gathering together all our capacities and talents and uniting them in the work of holiness. Once we have become a sheaf, we need to seek guidance and inspiration from Joseph, a spiritual leader. I don't understand what it means gathering all of them together. I feel like that's a very general way of saying like living life, because that's pretty much what we're doing all the time. And there's never a time where they all like come together. Yeah.
Avi?
Good morning, everyone. So amazing to see all of you. I'm just going to continue reading. Let's see. Relying on divine providence. Let's see. Terem vayikra alehem vayisna lu oso. Before Joseph reached his brothers, they conspired against him. Genesis 37:18. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Not sure where you're reading.
Me neither.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening right now. Okay, guys. Good morning, Avi.
I think you might be on a different day's daily wisdom. Somehow.
I was on the wrong day, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, gathering together all of our capacities and talents and uniting them in the work of holiness. I think I think it's pretty straightforward. That's what it means. That we have a lot of talents and it takes us time, living life as you said it, sometimes to figure out what our talents are. But right now we're speaking about specifically that I'm using it for holiness. It means I have a talent, but what am I using it for? And that's our trick. Our capacities and talents, I'm using it for holiness. That's one step. Another step is once we have become a sheaf, we need to seek guidance.
Um, yes, yes. Just like something that I've taken out from my own life, at least so far while I've been living away from a school environment, is that like not it's not about like doing as much as you can about more, it's more about doing what you need to do. So it's like putting on tefillin every day or like learning something. It's not something that everyone's the same at all. And I mean I know everyone's different and I know that people have, you know, different tendencies, but I think that being able to choose what you want to do during the day, things that like you prefer to do, that I prefer to do, is a lot easier than like this, like it's saying right here. Okay, I'll finish it next time.
Avi?
Sorry, I don't have the best reception. Um, I was just thinking about though, like what's like a greater mitzvah, like lighting the Hanukkah candles, or um, let's see, what do we do like every day that's the same? Um, I don't know. I guess like davening. When I heard like when people say like Ashrei, kind of like mumble it on the way out because it's not a big deal. But like, why is there like a more important mitzvah than the next one? It's just because we do it more or less often. But maybe because we do it so often, the ones that we do often, we should do it with more intention. Yeah. Okay, next. It's late. I'm tired. Night.
Just don't want you to reach so far. Yeah. Q. T. X, Y, Z. Pass. Actually, I'm gonna pass.
So yeah, I think we're all obviously on another level. Thing is, I think that we have this very interesting, a weird bias that we don't know how to don't really know how to deal with it. So we know that we have certain most of the time there's a certain sense, a certain time that we know our capacities, we know our talents, and we know what we got to do, and we got to get ourselves to do it. And then there's a next step where we think we're doing everything that we could do, and we have like a spiritual mentor which will help us and guide us to do the things that we, like once we already know the stuff that we need to do, he's also gonna guide us in how to do them, and also maybe stuff that we didn't realize that it's in our own blind spot.
um yeah, you would think that because we're doing it every day, they would be more important, but like when we actually end up doing those things that we do like once a week or once a month or once a year, we give them special attention as if those are the important things. You know, like which one is it? Yeah, which one is it? It's a good question. And I don't really know where I was getting at last time I was speaking. I guess I just think that everyone just does things at their own pace and that I didn't like that I wasn't doing it at my own pace. But at the end of the day, like the only reason I could do things at my own pace now is because I did things like the way I did it in school. So I guess there's no complaint there. Um, yeah, it's only a minute. It's pretty short. Fast.
Bobby. Avraham Montrose.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, I guess it's easier to, die for something than to live for something. So, don't die for the mitzvah. But, it's hard on like a once a year mitzvah. Be like, yeah, this is amazing, this is good. But like to like every single bracha to actually like think about it, like and like stop for a second, like that's too much. No, that's not important. Pass. Thank you.
Wow. So there's a rule in Yiddishkeit. It says, Tader she'enei tader, tader kaidem. So something that is all the time and something that is occasional. Something that's all the time takes precedence. So that's why, for example, something like blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, we don't do it if it lands on Shabbos, because Shabbos takes precedence over Rosh Hashanah. We have to keep Shabbos, so we're not allowed to carry, and there are all those kind of stuff. Also, in regards to lighting candles, there's a famous halacha in Rambam where it says if you only have enough money to buy candles for either Hanukkah or for Shabbos candles, you should buy for Shabbos candles. The reason why it gives there is because it brings peace into the home, and it's Yoni's turn. Good morning, Yoni.
Boker Tov. I just finished davening, but I gotta say Tehillim, so I still have my tefillin on. Feels really weird. Avi, are you back in the States? I want to know, or on your way back to the States. Davening is really interesting. In the Hallelujahs, when we say them, the first one speaks about how a person shouldn't. Here, let me actually. I have my over here. The first one speaks about how we look at people and we try to get, to get on their good side and try to get benefit for them. And even if a person does promise that he'll give it, always he could change his word, or he's human, so he could perish. But if you trust yourself in God, you'll never be disappointed, because God made everything, and He's also a man of His word, or a being of His word.
Shulam.
But there is an exception, Isaac, with Yom Kippur about fasting. So I'm curious what the difference would be there. And yeah, pass.
Avi.
Okay. Where are we reading from? Where are we?
As we mature.
Okay. As we mature spiritually, we reach a higher level. Having risen above earthly consciousness, we regain our soul's original heavenly consciousness and shine like a star. Yet, even on this level, we should not rely on our own achievements for inspiration, for this can lead to stagnation and complacency. Rather, we must continue to turn to our Joseph, meaning our spiritual mentor, for further insight and inspiration. Look at Kislev, Volume 3, page 805, 810. Yeah. Thank you.
I think it
And
should be.
hi, Yoni.
It should be not the opposite. Whatever you do, whatever. I think also there's I've basically learning about tzitzis and saying it's midaraisa. These days, like parents, teachers, they go more crazy over yarmulke, which is midarabanan, and tzitzis, that's midaraisa. Why is this? And come on, you're trying to make this just what he doesn't even know the real reason, whatever. I want to know the real reason. Isaac, you all answer that. Pass.
I don't know what your question is. Why parents
No.
do
Why?
that?
No. Why is it? What's more important, yarmulke or tzitzis? Basically, what?
See also Svadi's 5744, volume 2, page 715. I could have said it volume 15, page 345. So no. I think you got the Yom Kippur thing right. That it's the exception. Yon, it's good to see you. And Ali was saying something, but Avi looks like he's in like the airport on the way back from Australia, but he looks so tired. It's actually a little crazy. Avi, should get some sleep. What? Sleep. You need to get some sleep.
My question.
And your question is which one's more important? It's an excellent question. I would say yeah, because more important.
One's with the rice, one's with the banana.
I'm a little bit, Isaac. I'm a little bit disappointed that you just gave that answer. You can't. I'm a little disappointed. You can't put a weight on one's on another. But tzitzis, the commandment is any four-corner garment that you have to put tzitzis on their corners. If you wear a four-corner garment without tzitzis, then you're over a mitzvah aseh. Now, if you have a four-corner garment but you choose not to wear it, you're not doing a mitzvah aseh, but you're also not over a mitzvah aseh. You don't have, according to the Torah, it's only when you have a four-corner garment and you're wearing it, you have to have tzitzis on it. You have to have tzitzis on it, so while it's not, in order that you don't pass on it, but whatever. The point is that yarmulke is not even midrabanan. It's a custom that people accept, just like tzitzis, everyone accepts just to wear it. So tzitzis and yarmulke both should be worn. Yarmulke, the question is, what does it represent? Tzitzis represents all the mitzvahs. People are like, okay, fine, all the mitzvahs, whatever. Yarmulke represents that God's above you, and it's a reminder that God's above you. So that's what people are a little bit more.
Sean?
You see, I could trust in God, but I'm saying if he's going to be like, if things aren't going well for me, then like I'm trusting in him, like where's his end of the deal? But for real, yeah, it definitely does work, just because it's like the easy way out of like any issue. Like, oh, God's going to take care of it. It's like, I mean, it's not easy to think of, but if you do think of it, it takes away all issues, because it's like, it's not my issue, it's God's issue. He's the one that made the situation happen. Obviously, it's gonna something else is gonna happen because of this, and then it's just gonna happen. It's not like I have to do anything in order to force myself out of the situation. Yeah, still think the minutes are very short.
Avi?
So to tag along what Yosef said, yeah, a lot of people won't eat pig, at all, but talking like Lashon Hora, like you hear everyone talk about it all the time, and no one says anything. It's just, it doesn't look as serious. And then for Shalom, I just feel like if you're just doing your, hishtadlus, you're just doing the most that you can do, then you are where you're supposed to be and you are on your mission. So you should just look at it like that and just do what you're supposed to be doing. Thank you.
What? You don't have to calculate, you have to count. Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, Yod, Kaf, Chaf, Lamed, Mem.
No.
What?
Langerchaf.
Langerchaf. Lamed, Mem. Schlas, Mem, Non. Langenon, Samach, Ayin, Pei, Fei, Kuf, Reish.
No.
Lange, Fei, Kuf, Reish, and Tough Self.
Oh my God.
What? A, B, C. And I feel like I'm getting judged that I don't know my alphabet properly.
No.
Madu, could you teach me? I found the private
Look what I found.
daily wisdom. So I think Mandy's gonna be my off base teacher.
It also says in Pirkei Avos that you shouldn't basically gauge which mitzvah is bigger than another mitzvah, since we basically can never know the mitzvah and its reward. But in the end of the day, we still do have precedence in a lot of things. And like you said, Shalom, there's an exception, for Yom Kippur as an exception, because what it stands for, what it does, what it accomplishes. And that basically, when you have different schools of thought, like Chassidus, for example, will put emphasis on certain areas more than others. So I think in general, it's in order to get us to the ultimate point, whichever one actually, okay.
So Shalom, first thing, what Avi said was, if you're doing everything that you can, and you actually trust in God, instead of saying, hey, God, I trust you, but I trust you only if you do what I want, then that's not really trust. Also, a parent, sorry, my phone just got to 15%. A parent that takes away a knife from a child, the child's crying and screaming and yelling and kicking and wants it. At the end, the parent is doing the best for the child, but obviously that's not what the child sees. So God, it could be doing things that you think is seemingly unfair, and to any other person, to myself, right? When I regard to myself, I have to say, okay, God's doing it because it's for my best. Or to anyone else, I have to kick and cry and scream and saying, God, why are you doing this to this person? Also, Avi, actions are more farther away from words, and thoughts are farther away from
Sean?
I'll get to that.
No, not today. Not today. You won't. I don't think. So I think that it's like jobs. You have two jobs I can take up right now. Just because I'm not doing one, doesn't mean it's not important. Just happens to be that the other thing is more important now. It's not like yarmulke is more important than tzitzis. Tzitzis is more important than yarmulke. Each has a function that it serves that can't be done with the other. So just because you can do something with the yarmulke that you can't do with tzitzis doesn't mean that there isn't something you could do with tzitzis that you can't do with tzitzis. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. And I liked it when it was a minute and a half. That's what I keep saying. It's a little hard for me to finish a thought that I'm actually on a roll on about. Yeah. All right. It was good seeing you all today.
Avi? Avi mantras?
Yes. Doesn't the Torah or something say that you have to love Hashem and that you have to, if you do as Hashem b'simcha, isn't that interesting? What if I don't? No, I don't love Hashem. No, you have to. So basically, it's people just think it's your nature. This is how I am, and I can't change. You can change your actions, you can change your words, and you can change your thoughts. Do it. Thank you.
Avi mantras, you're late for your flight. Please go to the nearest gate.
And pass. Thanks.
Please go to the nearest gate for your flight. Thank you, everyone, for visiting FiveAlive Airport. It is 8:45, and we have to go to Jets to learn more Torah right now. Thank you very much for joining. Have a great day. Bye, Shalom. Bye, Yoni. Bye, Avi. And
Mashiach now. Have a wonderful, beautiful, adorable day.
joining now.